The longest-running off-road and action motorsports radio show on the planet is coming to you live with the biggest guest in motorsports. Here is the only man on the planet who can pack this much dirt slinging and tire slaying into 2 hours a week. Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to get your ears blown. Here is Jim Beaver and the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
What is happening? Welcome to another Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here. Yeah, you guys didn't guess that from the intro, did you? Right? Had no freaking clue, right? Well, Jim Beaver here. Episode number. What are we at? Like 363, 73. I don't know, too damn many episodes at this point. 373, I'm being told. 373 episodes. So thank you guys. If you've been here for all 373 episodes, I wonder what in the heck is the matter with you? No, seriously, thank you guys for tuning in, whether it's been 1 minute or 373. Much appreciated. Anyways, fun show today. Obviously, we got Power Rankings back. You guys seem to love the Power Rankings last week, so we're bringing that back for week 2. Actually, it's going to be an every week thing. I enjoy doing them, so if I enjoy doing it, whether you like it or not, we're probably going to roll them into the show. So Power Rankings back. I think we got some stuff that are it's going to shake you guys up a little bit, make you think, and actually it made me think because there was a few of them there. I didn't know which way to go with it. So Power Rankings, as far as guests, man, we got Zach Osborne on the line. We saw him this past weekend come back. Obviously, he's been out of Supercross for injury, made his 450 debut this past weekend. So we're going to have Zach Osborne on the show to talk about that. Also got some big news coming out of the Mid 400 and Dakar that we're going to get to. We've got Tiffany Stone. She's going to be locked and loaded here, coming back from Daytona. She was on site at the Daytona 500, so we're going to have her chiming in. And then we've got a good friend of mine, Justin Peck. He's going to be on Project Action this Thursday. Spent 45 minutes with Mr. Peck. Obviously, he's an author. He's a man, what else is he? He's a motivational speaker, entrepreneur, but he's also an off-road racer. He's going to be racing 43 weekends this year in 5 different series. Crazy. Everything from rallycross, stadium super trucks, desert short course. So we're going to catch up with him. And I don't know, we got a slam-packed show today. It's going to be a ton of fun. We're going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to roll right into things right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I've partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at motoshieldpro.com.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
All right, well, welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, along with a bunch of our other great partners: General Tire, Subaru, Vision Wheel, Dirtfish, Gibson, MotoShield Pro, and a host of others. Anyways, thank you for joining us. And, it was kind of a weird few weeks stretch for me. I'm actually in Parker, like locked and loaded here for a few weeks, and been weird. Haven't been on the road much. And, it's been kind of odd to be 100% honest with you, but been able to catch up on some stuff that I needed to catch up on, and actually been able to tune in and watch some, just racing on television. I actually sat down this past weekend and watched a bit of the Daytona 500. I got to tell you, I am not a major NASCAR fan. You guys know this. And I tried to watch Daytona, the whole thing, and I just quite couldn't do it. Takeaways from Daytona 500, though. I gotta give credit where credit is due. As a guy who does TV myself, Jeff Gordon is a freaking badass. I don't care if I wasn't a Jeff Gordon fan when he was a race car driver. Like, I respected the guy, was not a Jeff Gordon fan. I mean, I was kind of a Ford guy, right? So, you don't, you just can't. It's like sacrilegious, right? You cannot go for Jeff Gordon. Well, him as a TV host or as a color commentator, dude is on point. Like, you don't realize a good color commentator, and sometimes things that they do kind of go unnoticed. But if you actually work in TV, like, you recognize them. And I just have to tell you, like, Jeff Gordon, amazing color commentator. And it makes you wonder, like Darrell Waltrip, legend, right? I'm not taking anything away from the dude, but it makes you wonder why they keep him around. Like, I think Darrell Waltrip is being kept around, like, for one reason, and that's because he says boogity, boogity, boogity. Straight up. I think that's the only reason why they keep him around. He is like NASCAR's version of Bruce Buffer. Bruce Buffer does all the MMA fights. Let's get ready to rumble or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that Darrell Waltrip is that, right? They keep him around just for his intro. Boogity, 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 let's go racing, boys. And I straight up think that's the only reason he has a TV contract at this point. And rightfully so. Dude has coined that term, and, obviously it's keeping him out of retirement. And obviously they're paying him well to say it. But I honestly, I think that is the reason why they are keeping him around at this point. So, yes, I did watch some NASCAR. Still not a fan. Much rather watch IndyCar. Just saying, just put it out there in the universe. But, my problem with NASCAR, and I had this conversation over the weekend, and, with numerous people, and the guys at the shop, I might add, massive NASCAR fans, right? And I know I beat up NASCAR on the show. We've had NASCAR drivers on. I respect the hell out of the drivers. It's just the way NASCAR is packaged a sport. I don't know. It's like they're throwing stuff at a wall trying to get stuff that sticks. But how can you have a series that leaves and everybody goes, oh, well, it's different. Bull. How can you have a series that leaves the opening weekend of Daytona, right? And you got Denny Hamlin, who won the race. Generally, the guy who wins the damn race is the points leader after the first race of the year, you know what I mean, going into the second race, right? No, not in NASCAR. Denny Hamlin, yeah, he's a points leader. He's tied with Joey Logano. Well, how does that work? Oh, well, there's bonus points, this and that. Well, you think, well, what did Logano finish, like second in the race? And, you know, he got a couple bonus points, so they tied. No, Logano got freaking fourth. How does the guy that gets fourth place, how is he in a tie with the guy who gets first place? Now, all you NASCAR fans are going to beat me up, and you're going to be like, oh, Jimmy, well, you know, they had this shootout and they had this stage, and he got stage points, and he got a point for leading a lap, and he got – that's all crap. It's garbage. You know, let's look at, like, the Olympics, right? If you got a marathon, this, you know, what's a marathon? It's 26 miles, right? You got to, I believe, I could be wrong. I think it's 26 miles a marathon, right? Or Boston Marathon Olympics, whatever. You got somebody that shot out of a cannon, say they run really hard the first 5 miles, and they're the leader, right? 5 mile mark, man, this dude is on fire, in fuego even. And, you know, he's leading, right? And then all of a sudden, he hits the wall and got nothing left in the tank, starts to drop back. But he did lead that first 5 miles of the race, you know. But then you get to the finish line, and that dude, he finishes fourth place, right? But because he led at the beginning, you're gonna give him a gold medal along with the guy who actually won the race. Like, that's what NASCAR just did, in my opinion, right? The guy who finished fourth, they gave him a gold medal too. You want to talk about snowflakes? NASCAR's breeding snowflakes. Joey Logano, you're a snowflake, my friend. Like, straight up, like, you know, like, everybody gets a trophy. I don't get it. I'm sure you guys are going to assassinate me on this. And I love Joey Logano. He's a Polaris Razor guy, but if he was on the show, I'd say the same thing. Dude, Logano, you got fourth, dude. How are you tied for points? Straight up, I would call it like I see it. Yeah, so I don't get it. Like, to me, that's like Pandora's box. Like, how the hell does that even work? You know, it would be like NHRA, and everybody's like, oh, NASCAR's different. So it'd be like NHRA, in each qualifying round, you know, you get points, and I don't know. It would be like somebody getting eliminated early out of NHRA, but you know, and say like the second round or something. But because their times were quicker than the eventual winner in the final round, they somehow got points for the weekend that equals the guy who won. Like, I don't know. That's the problem with NASCAR. It's so damn overly complicated to be a fan. Like, seriously. You know, NHRA, you can tell who wins, the guy that gets to the end of the drag strip the quickest. IndyCar, Indy 500, well, you lead 500 miles, or doesn't matter if you lead 500 miles, but if you cross the bricks in first place, you're the damn winner, and you're going to get the most points. NASCAR, they don't work that way. You can be the guy that crosses the stripe first, but you might not get the most points on that weekend because somebody had a faster, earlier segment or I don't know. It's overly complicated. I'm a big fan of the old school Formula One point system, the one that they don't even have anymore. Like, they literally, Formula One used to give 10 points to the winner. I believe it may have been 8. It's actually even going farther back. I think it went 10, 8, 6, 5, 4. I don't know. They broke it down like that. And then if you were like outside of the top 6 or 8, you didn't even get points. I can't quite remember the breakdown. But it was literally, man, you had to put up or shut up in Formula One, right? And the winner only got 10 points. And if you got anywhere farther back, you know, than like 6th or 8th, I think they expanded it to 8 at one point. But it used to just be the top 6. But if you're out of that, like, you don't get a trophy, you don't get anything. Thanks for participating, go home. You know, but it was like, it forced guys to drive, you know, hard. And I know that's what NASCAR's tried to do, but I think the point system is overly complicated. The reason why I like the F1 point system, it was so simple. You knew if this guy won 5 races, he had 50 points. Right? NASCAR, you win 5 races, I can't tell you how many points you got. In NASCAR, it's going to take a math wizard to actually calculate your total. I think that's why NASCAR's losing fans. Now everybody's going to go, oh, but Daytona, the ratings were up. I think it was like 8%, right? Yeah, they were up 8% this year. You realize like last year, they were down 20%. So when you drop 20 and you go up 8, you're still 12% behind where you were 2 years ago. I don't know the answer for NASCAR other than it's damn complicated to be a fan. And when you got something that's so damn complicated, people are going to tune out and they're going to tune into something else. So, yes, I just ranted for the opening segment of this show on something I never talk about, which is NASCAR. But in reality, other than Supercross, it was the only damn thing going on this weekend, so we had to talk about it. So, yes, NASCAR, we talked about it. We're probably going to have to talk about it in our power rankings because, once again, it was the only thing on television this weekend. But we will definitely get to that when we return. Anyways, hit me up at JimBeaver15 on social media. I would love to have your guys' thoughts on everything that I'm talking about. So hit me up at JimBeaver15 on Twitter. I am watching it as we speak. Going to take a short break. We come back. We're going to have some power rankings here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I just got done talking a bit of NASCAR, and it was quite interesting. Anyways, yes, moving forward, we got some power rankings, and this is one of those where a lot of you chimed in last week. You love the concept. You love the idea. We posted a graphic day after the show, and a lot of you interacted on Instagram, telling us what you liked, what you didn't like. I got a few personal messages, DMs, and people, we're pretty stoked on we're pretty stoked on things. So I don't know. I like it. I think this starts a conversation, and I will tell you guys, I'm not right. I'm not wrong. There is no right answer to this. It's all subjective, and I think that's what's good. It spurs a conversation about motorsport. And it's not like a season-long conversation. It's literally every single week we take a 7-day window snapshot, boom. And, that's what we factor in. We may factor in the race previous if it was the weekend before or something like that. But, overall it's a 1-week snapshot of what's happening in motorsport. And then, obviously we base these rankings on that. So I guess, I don't know. To me, it's something I like lists, right? Whether, I know we did it on Race Desert as a part of that, like top 10 off-road racers in the world in any given year, right? And people just get pissed off. Oh, so-and-so's not on their list. Robbie Gordon's the greatest of all time. Well, he's probably in that GOAT conversation. Rob Mack might have something to say about it. Is Robbie a talented driver? Yeah, but like in the snapshot window, like Robbie had raced like once. And he DNF'd. It was like a Baja 1000, he DNF'd, right? Well, is Robbie one of the most talented drivers? Yes, but his results over that 1-year period sucked. So he wasn't on the list, right? And I think that's how this is. You know what I mean? This is literally a 1-week snapshot. So if you're not on the list, could be next week. And the guys that are on there, they don't do anything next week, they're not going to be on the list. So, this one we kind of got creative with. So this is your power rankings for this week. What is this, February 19th? I guess post President's Day. If you're tuning in on iTunes, I have no idea when you're listening to this, but I guess the President's Day week. Anyways, I don't know. How can you butcher an intro any more than that? I don't know. We'll try next week to do it. But coming in at number 5 on this week's Power Rankings, we've got Joe Gibbs Racing. Yes, Joe Gibbs Racing, the team. And you know why we've got Joe Gibbs Racing as the team? Well, they did something that's only happened 2 times in the history of NASCAR, and that is sweep the podium at the Daytona 500. The only other time it has happened was in 1997 with Hendrick Motorsports. So Joe Gibbs Racing swept the podium. Denny Hamlin took the victory. Kyle Busch finishing in second, and Eric Jones finishing in the third spot. Truex actually running really strong as well, but he got tangled up in that demolition derby that was the Daytona 500. But Joe Gibbs Racing sweeping the podium, and it wasn't just their sweep of the podium, but Joe Gibbs' son, J.D. Gibbs, passed away in January, and it was heartbreaking for the whole team. And, for them to come back after that, sweep the podium, the emotions ran high with Joe Gibbs Racing. He had said, he's won so many NFL games, such an acclaimed coach. And, and obviously he's got Daytona victories to his name and everything else as a team owner. He said out of everything he's accomplished in his career, I think he said this was probably the most special. So for those reasons, we've got Joe Gibbs Racing coming in at number 5. Now, number 4, this is one that a lot of you probably wouldn't even think about, and this is me trying to throw you guys for a loop here. So I really try to think out of the box here on number 4. IndyCar season, it's not quite upon us, but it's coming up pretty quick. We got COTA, St. Pete, or St. Pete, COTA, I guess, coming up. We had basically the Circuit of the Americas open test, which I got to say, IndyCar's impressed. Obviously, were they as fast as Formula One cars? No. But I think they definitely impressed at COTA. That being said, out of all the performance at this test at Circuit of the Americas, Colton Herta. Wow. Obviously, Harding Steinbrenner Racing, I guess they're new-ish to the series. I guess formally this team name is new to the series this year. Obviously, they've got history in the sport. But Colton Herta, the rookie, obviously we know him from Lights, and the kid is just uber talented. He probably could have moved up last year. They delayed a year. I actually shared a plane flight with him. We both sat in first class, coming home from the Indy Grand Prix last year. And super nice kid. I got to talk with him for a little bit, and then I think then he buried himself into video games. But super good kid, super nice. But anyways, talking about this, he put on a spanking at this open test at the Circuit of the Americas. Colton Herta, I think out of, what did they have, like 3 test sessions? I think he was the quickest in 2 of the 3. And literally, I think he was second in the last one. The only reason why he got second, Alexander Rossi found something in the tank at the last minute, and and it was able to get him in the third session. But overall, Colton Herta first, almost a half a mile an hour faster than Alexander Rossi in second, and then you got to Will Power not far behind Rossi there in third. But Colton Herta, man, this kid with a new team to come into this test, and literally it was rad. They had like a carbon fiber body, full on like old test car like theme. They didn't have it all livery wrapped. It was like literally like prototype carbon fiber with just numbers on the side. I love those test liveries, and it was kind of a throwback to stuff you don't see now. Everything's so commercialized. Like, you're not going to have a car on track without full branded livery. And Colton Herta had like a carbon fiber one with just the numbers. I thought it was so rad to see like that test livery. But this kid's coming in here at number 4 because he just flat spanked the IndyCar field. And I think IndyCar and all the teams are on notice, like, hey, this kid's here to play. This is Colton Herta, and he may be a rookie, but look out. And obviously his dad's Brian Herta, right? I mean, this is a legacy driver here. But geez, to me, like, to go there, like, you would have expected maybe a top 10 out of the kid. No. first, and not just first, but a spanking in first place. Like Colton Herta, he's coming in at number 4. That's got me excited for this kid's rookie season, that's for sure. I mean, this could be like Robert Wickens 2.0, right? Wickens had a phenomenal year last year up until his crash. I think Colton Herta, he's going to come in just like Wickens. He's going to surprise from day number 1. So moving on to number 3, and for number 3, we got to go all the way to Sweden. That is Rally Sweden. Ott Tanek. Sorry if I butchered that name. I know there's always you Rally fans that are going to assassinate me for the way I pronounce it, and sorry, but it is what it is. Ott, anyways, taking the victory there at Rally Sweden, one of the iconic rallies on the WRC calendar. He took the victory there, not just any victory. I mean, it was a big victory. It moved him into the points lead there with Toyota Gazoo Racing, but he is overall championship leader after that victory, and just a solid showing. He flat dominated, winning by almost a minute over Citroen. So 53.7 seconds I'm reading here. So almost a minute victory, but we had Tanek there coming in at number 3. A little WRC action into our power rankings this week. So now coming in at 2 and number 1, this is where it gets interesting. This is where I think these ones are both could be interchanged. I know Chris Leone that handles his site. He had him as a 1A and a 1B, like a tied for first. I think they could be. I'll make a decision here, though. I'm going to put number 2 at Denny Hamlin. Obviously, your Daytona 500 winner, and you go, Jimmy, how could the Daytona 500 winner finish second? Well, I'll tell you a reason why Denny Hamlin's in second, then I'll tell you about first place. But Denny Hamlin, your Daytona 500, he comes in winner at second. Big win for him. He had no wins last year in 2018, so had a little bit of a drought last year. Comes back, wins the Daytona 500. It's his second Daytona 500 win. His last one came back in 2016. So Denny Hamlin with that big win for Joe Gibbs Racing on top of the box there at Daytona. He's coming in at number 2. And now you're wondering, who the hell is number 1 if you got the Daytona 500 winner at number 2? Well, I'm saying Cooper Webb coming in at number 1. Yes, he was on the rankings last week. He's on this week, but this guy is on fire. And you can't penalize him because he had this amazing victory the same weekend as the Daytona 500. And I'm stealing that from Chris Leone, by the way. That's what Chris said. But Cooper Webb coming in at number 1. I don't know if you watched the Supercross race or not, but if you haven't, you need to go back and watch it online or on the DVR or however you've got it saved or you watch Supercross. Amazing race. Cooper Webb's got 4 wins in 2019. He's got back-to-back wins, and this win came over Ken Roczen. Ken Roczen had a phenomenal effort. Looked like he was finally going to get the monkey off his back, and literally Cooper Webb at the stripe made the pass. And it was literally the closest finish in Supercross history. Cooper Webb with a come-from-behind victory. And I don't know, Roczen, man, he's just shaking his head after the event going, wow. Like, wow. He's like, what can you do, right? So Cooper Webb, I've got him at number 1, and just a phenomenal effort by him. So I would say, though, if you, on your rankings or in your mind, if you got Denny Hamlin over Cooper Webb at 1, or if you've got if you've got them tied, like, I think those two are reversible, but would love to hear your power rankings. Hit me up at JimBeaver15. We will have the graphic thrown up on social media at some point in the next day, and I would love to have your conversation there on Instagram when we post that at JimBeaver15. But let me know your power rankings. Let me know how you like these, what you think. If you think I'm an idiot, let me know. If you think I'm pretty spot on, I'd like to hear about that too. But it's definitely up for a debate. Like I said, there is no right answer, but it spurs a conversation. That's what we like to have here on the show. So we are going to take a short commercial break. We come back. Tiffany Stone, who was on ground at the Daytona 500, she's going to be here on the show, right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere is possible with the Down and Dirty radio show since 2012. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered, packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty radio show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at MotoShieldPro.com. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out VisionWheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome somebody you guys are pretty familiar with, Miss Tiffany Stone to the line, who coincidentally, T-Stone, you were sitting in the parking lot of a massage parlor.
What's up? I know, if everybody just heard what you said to me, they would laugh, and then I was like, oh, so this is how the show's going to start today.
That's one thing that's one thing about you and I. We've got kind of we've got an interesting sense of humor, and both of us kind of have the same sense of humor. So, like, you get us together, and I think some people look at us like crickets, and you and I think it's the funniest stuff ever, you know?
Exactly, because I don't know, it made me laugh because you're like, all right, well, hurry up, knock this, and you can get your rub on. And I just thought it was the funniest thing, and I just sat there and I was like, oh. Because our humor is, you either have to be really smart to get it or know the inside joke. And so I think that's why you and I laugh so hard.
I know. I've got another friend in the industry, actually a couple of them, they're the same way, but it's like, I don't know. It's like, do you pay attention to Joe Rogan at all? Like, I love his stand-up comedy, but a lot of people hate it. But Joe Rogan is so ridiculously smart, and I'm not saying that I'm smarter than anybody else. It's not where I'm getting here. But his sense of humor, like, he's very intelligent. So if you're not really well-read and you're not up-to-date on, like, science and current events, and, like, most of it'd be, like, over people's heads. But if you are, like, Joe Rogan is absolutely hilarious, you know?
No, I actually love Joe Rogan. I know he has a few specials right now on Netflix, and I've been watching them. But what I love Joe Rogan, like the reason why I love him so much is he has ragdoll cats, just like my little Swisher. And so when he was talking about ragdoll cats, about how like, you know, they meow and like they look at stuff, knock things over, it just made me laugh because when you have the same type of animal and the same breed, I guess, of that particular animal, it makes you look, oh, yeah, if you have ragdolls, you're a cat guy.
Yeah. Yeah. See, and honestly, like ragdoll cats, like I've never actually even seen one in person. So it's like, but yeah, it's like weird when you get that connection with somebody, right? It's like, I don't know. There's just something there. I don't know. Where the hell are we going with this? I have no idea. But you were in Daytona, so let's talk about that.
No, I think that's probably why my brain is all foggy. Like last week I was in California, and then by the end of the week I'm not kidding you, Jim, you're going to laugh. So yes, I was in Daytona this weekend. I was down there for the 500. It was awesome, by the way. I thought my flight was on Thursday, so I'm driving all day Monday. I drive about 13 and a half hours from Arizona, and I get to Oklahoma City. And then the next morning I wake up and I'm like, oh, I got, plenty of time. Tomorrow's my flight, Thursday's my flight. No, my flight was Wednesday. So I drove 16 and a half hours home. That's my flight to go to Daytona. So not only was I driving 16 and a half hours, I was home for 16 hours, hopped on a flight, went to Daytona, and honestly, like, I don't know if you watched any of the races, but I feel like this weekend, the least number of trucks and stock cars, like, actually finished. There was, like, maybe 10 cars that finished the 500 yesterday.
Well, and no, I saw that, and I have this weird thing with NASCAR. I'm not a massive NASCAR fan, but I respect it. I've got a lot of friends that are in the industry, and I try and keep an open eye on, or an open mind to things. But T-Stone, this sport is they've made it so damn complicated. Like with all these stages and, like to me, and I've talked about this on the show already today, but literally you've got Joey Logano who finished 4th place, and he's tied in points with the guy that finished 1st place. Like, to me, you've got a problem when the 4th place finisher and the winner of the race have the same amount of points leaving the first weekend.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the points and the structure and all that, that's, way above my head sometimes because there are a lot of different components to it. So it's kind of hard unless you're a solid NASCAR fan to, like, keep track of it every week and everything like that. But, like, what I think is so crazy is if you've never been to a NASCAR race, like, obviously, yes, everybody's just turning left, and they go around and around and around. But the crazy thing about it is when you're actually there, just how much horsepower each one of those vehicles is, putting off. And then more so is just how crazy the incline is for the bank and then how fast. Like, one of my friends, she was there and she's never been to a NASCAR race. So obviously it was awesome that she got to see the 500. But from where we started, I did a stopwatch for her. It takes 45 seconds to complete one lap around the Daytona 500, around that speedway. 45 seconds, just crazy. And like you said, you have so much respect for them because they're going anywhere between 165 to almost 200 miles per hour on certain things like the straightaway and everything like that. And, imagine coming into pit row so quickly, but having to have such amazing, awesome brakes to be able to stop because you can only go, a certain amount in pit row, just like every other race.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that too. And I don't think people give, whether it be NASCAR or auto racing or even NHRA, if they're just TV fans and they're not actually there, in the flesh fan, like, I don't think you realize the speeds. Like, if you go to an NHRA drag strip, you look from one end to the other, it's a long freaking way, and then you watch these Top Fuel and funny cars go, and it's like, boom, 3 seconds there at the end, and you're like, wow. Like, they just and I don't think, as a fan, you get that on TV, and same with NASCAR, or going to, like, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, or Charlotte, like, the banking and the distance, like, you look around Indianapolis Motor Speedway, And they've got a damn golf course it's big enough they've got a golf course on the inside of the track. Daytona, they showed that aerial video. Like, there had to have been a couple of thousand RVs in the infield of Daytona. Like, people don't realize how big these tracks are because I think TV kind of dumbs down the speeds. And I think when you're there and you can see them go by, and like you said, it takes 45 seconds, like, it puts it into perspective. Like, this is a big track, and these guys are covering a lot of ground really, really fast.
No, and you're absolutely right. And just how much, horsepower is in each one of those vehicles and just everything in general. And I was telling her, I was like, imagine going so fast. Your body is not tense but you have so much inertia within the vehicle. Thanks, making those corners, and say you just make 2 or 3 inch different move the wrong way. Crash, like there was 10 laps left to go. And, you make one little mistake, one little too left of a turn or too right to try to on the straightaway, and it just completely destroys the rest of it. Same thing with the truck series a few nights before. They literally had 2 laps left to go. It was crazy. 2 laps left to go, and it was like a green-white checkered, no matter what happened. However, and they didn't even get through 2 turns before another crash happened with a overtime. So it was crazy. Like I said, I think this weekend, the least amount of vehicles finished every single race that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was. And, and they always say waiting for the big one, like, gosh, it was crazy. Like you said, it was chaos. I mean, it was like a damn off-road race. We're used to having 10 cars finish in an off-road race, but NASCAR, no, like generally you've got a couple of dozen that at least limp it to the finish line. Like it was insane. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of anxious to see how the TV ratings come out. I know on-track attendance looked insane. Like, it just, I don't know. I mean, what I haven't even asked you, but I know you were there with Toyota, correct? What did you have going on there?
We were there. So Toyota has a big play into the, Daytona International Speedway. So obviously there's a thing called Pit Pass, and that's all outside. And inside they have a cool injector thing where they bring a bunch of vehicles. So we're just talking about the vehicles and just being a part of that. And it's kind of cool because it's a work play type environment. Like, we're working. Then if we do want to watch the race or hang out or do anything like that, it's awesome to be able to do something like that. And what's so nice, if you've never been to Daytona International Speedway, it is a beautiful place. I mean, just the size of it, the location, and what's so great too is if you airport, it's literally right next to the track. It is the most convenient thing, because you and I, we've gone to off-road races, say we're going up to Crandon or whatnot. We're flying into Green Bay, driving 2 hours to Wisconsin or to Crandon, and then we're finally there. This, I literally get off the plane, I walk, and I can see the track from the airport. It's awesome.
Yeah, that is nice when you've got that. I know like Indianapolis is kind of the same way, and that's one thing I've always liked where everything's really nice and tight there at Indy where it's like 5-10 minute drive tops, you know what I mean, to hotels, to the speedway, to the airport. Like it's so nice when everything's all, kind of triangulated right there in one little cluster because it makes traveling like you don't have to get a rental car. You can just Uber everywhere, No,
and it is great. And, the people say, which is so weird that the 500 is like the Super Bowl of the NASCAR. And it's the biggest races of the entire year, and it's literally the first major race of the year too. So it's kind of cool to see it, how that, because to me, I like when you come out and you have a big race at the beginning of the year, and that sets the tone. It's like, okay, this person stepped up this year, this person came to race this year, what's going to be happening? And then you can go back, change a few things. Where other series, it's like, okay, you start out and do these things, 5 or less races, that's when everybody starts putting in the points factor and figuring all that out. Like with NHRA, they do that for the end. At NASCAR, they do the chase, and then they do all that. But I love it how the Daytona 500 comes out, you see who's coming swinging for the rear, and I think it's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, and that's a big one. You know what I mean? It's like you don't have to wait till mid-season, like you said. It's it's the big one right out of the box. So everybody is coming out swinging. So what's next for you? I think obviously you're back in Detroit. I think you and I are going to get together in a couple of weeks at the Mid 400, right?
I am saying staying not moving for a little bit, hang out in Detroit, just start working out again, getting everything ready. And then, the Mint 400 is coming up, so I'll be there early in the week. I get there on Tuesday, heading out on Monday. So I think it'll be awesome. I'm excited to see what's happening. They got a few new things going on. And with racing, on Saturday and Sunday is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, man, it's like a week-long festivities. I know you and I actually talked with Polaris. They haven't made the announcement yet on the show, but we'll be doing our live show or our live recorded show on Friday at Continuously. So looking forward to that. I'm sure you and I will have no shortage of fun at the Mint doing interviews.
No, I'm so excited. Mint's always an awesome atmosphere because too much take up, obviously, the whole thing, and I just think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun year, like you said. I mean, I know you're going to be a big part of the live stream. They're bringing in, I don't know, I got to get Matt Martelli on the show, but I know they're bringing in just a ton of new stuff, a couple of days of racing, and should be a whole lot of fun. So, that's coming up for you. And I mean, what other events? Like you and I talk quite frequently, and I still don't know where the hell you're at from time to time. What else you got? I'm assuming UTV World Championship at some point, and then in between then and there, what else you got rolling, T-Stone?
I got the Columbus Auto Show. I might be heading out to Easter Jeep Safari. Might be the Park Auto Show. And then, obviously, UTV World Championships, throw that in there. And then one of my favorite events is the Detroit Grand Prix that they're bringing back. It's always usually the first weekend in June. So I'm kind of it's a great event because not only do you have the SST trucks out there, you have IMSA, you have IndyCar. So it's cool because it's a 3-day weekend type deal, and, everybody's there, and you get to see different types of racing actually on an island, so that's badass to me. Yeah,
and that's one, with a doubleheader for IndyCar and, like you said, SST, like, I'm not going to be able to go to the Long Beach Grand Prix this year. I'm toying with the idea of flying out to the Detroit Grand Prix just because it looks like it would be a complete ton of fun.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, like, I'm toying with the idea in the back of my head. We'll see if it happens or not, but I will definitely keep you lined up because, I'm going to be like, hey, T-Stone, we got to go and have some fun.
We are, and I will show you what a Detroit Coney is all about, and I will leave it on that.
Oh man, now you're teasing me. Maybe I'm definitely going to have to make that one happen. We'll see how this plays out. But I appreciate the time, T-Stone. You go get your rub on, and we'll talk with you next week. And we'll be back with more after this here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Whether you're looking for a tire that balances high performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in wet and dry conditions, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the all-new G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, cruising with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for. No fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners. And for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island. The best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All right, just rounding out hour number 1 here. Packed with quite a bit of NASCAR talk, which is a rarity on this show. Promise we'll get back to normal next week. Probably won't talk much NASCAR at all, but it was like the only thing going on this weekend other than Supercross. We'll get to some more of that. We got Zach Osborne coming up in hour number 2, along with a nice teaser for Project Action this week from a good friend of mine, Justin Peck. Amazing interview with Justin Peck. Going to drop this Thursday on Project Action on Podcast One. If you want that, you definitely it'll be on my website. It'll be on Podcast One, but the easiest way to get it is to go over to iTunes, and check it out there. Subscribe to that one. Subscribe to the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Those of you that have, much appreciated. If you haven't, please head over there and do so. It helps us out a ton. Please leave a rating or review. I put the offer out there. If you want to follow from me on social media, easiest way to get it is to leave a rating or review, and then when you leave that review on iTunes, leave your Twitter, Instagram @username in the body of the review, and when I see it, I will follow you back on social media. And speaking of social media, it's @JimBeaver15, and the reason why I am throwing that out is we've got a good 12-minute segment next hour where I've got some news coming out of the Mint 400 and Dakar that we're going to talk about, maybe a little rally talk as well. Got some big news coming out of ARA Rally I just saw here posted yesterday. So we're going to talk about that, but I got some time to take some fan questions. So if you got some debates with me about power rankings, want my opinion on anything coming up, make sure and hit me up @JimBeaver15 on Twitter, and we will get to those questions here on the show here in the next hour for sure. So it should be a fun hour number 2 with Zach Osborne, Justin Peck, and kind of some news and notes segment right here on the show. Also got some Supercross results, man. That was a wild one they had this past weekend. So we'll talk about that as well. So, we are going to take a short break right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris Razor. And when we come back, it is going to be hour number 2 right here on the show. So hang tight. We got a lot more coming at you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow @PolarisRazor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire. General Tire's Grabber X3 mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3 from General Tire. Make your anywhere possible by visiting GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, aggressive styling with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out VisionWheel.com or @VisionWheel on social media to learn more.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
All right, welcome back here to hour number 2 on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. And we're going to have Zach Osborne coming up here in the next segment. I was able to catch up with Zach last Friday, right before he hit the track for last weekend's race there in Texas at Arlington Stadium, a place where the Texas Rangers play. A little known fact, my cousin Stosh actually works for the Texas Rangers, handles their spring training facility in Phoenix. So I'm a bit of a Texas Rangers fan by default, I guess. But Arlington, always an interesting one. They got some different dirt there, and it's Texas, right? Texas. In February, always a good showing. Anyways, Looking at the results from this weekend, main event, it was Cooper Webb and Ken Roczen, followed by Marvin Musquin there in the third spot. I was actually trying to get some times, and I don't have the times in front of me. To see, you know what I mean, the differential is crazy. We're talking like thousandths of a second, I think. But anyways, you look at these stats. Ken Roczen got the whole shot and led 20 laps. Cooper Webb led 1 lap. He didn't even leave 1 lap. He led 1 inch. Literally, he led 1 inch of the race. Ken Roczen led the rest. But that 1 inch counted for everything. And Cooper Webb, wow, what a crazy victory for Cooper Webb over Ken Roczen. Marvin Musquin there in third, Baggett in the fourth spot, Savachi, Seeley, Barsha, Wilson, Plessinger, and Justin Brayton rounding out your top 10. And you got to love that. KTMs, Hondas, Cowies, Yamahas all in the mix this season. It's definitely been good. So Cooper Webb, he inherits the lead in the points. Roczen, Marvin, second, third. Then you get 250s. It was Forkner with another victory, back-to-back there for Forkner, Cooper, and Sexton, your top 3. And then points with a couple of rounds in the East, it is Forkner, Cooper, and Jordan Smith, 1, 2, and 3 in Supercross. So, we'll keep rolling on. Got a fun relationship with Supercross going this year where they help us out book interviews, and I think you fans have really been enjoying that. So big thanks to my friends there at Supercross for all the help and making that happen. But we are going to take a short break. We come back. It will be Zach Osborne right here on the line here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Whether you're looking for a tire that balances high performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in wet and dry conditions, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the all-new G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, cruising with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the two-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for, no fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners. And for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island, the best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'd like to welcome Zach Osborne to the line. And Zach, I guess big news coming out this week. You are back on the bike, my friend.
Yes, sir. That's the case.
So, man, well, you kind of take us through, obviously, this season. I know, big news was you moving up to the 450s. You had that great ride there, going to be teammates alongside Jason Anderson, and then stuff kind of hit the fan right before A1. I mean, how has the recovery been? I mean, how are you health-wise, heading into this weekend here at Arlington?
Yeah, now I'm doing really well. Obviously, I was doing a bit of preseason training and just had a small mistake that caused a big crash with big consequences. So I missed about 6 weeks worth of riding, and I've been back on the bike for about 8 days now, and I'm feeling really good. I mean, definitely a tick off of where I was when I crashed fitness-wise, but speed-wise, it's coming back really quick. So I'm looking forward to making my debut and, just kind of getting the ball rolling and moving forward. It's a nice feeling to be back to the races and just, like I said, moving forward, it's a good feeling.
Yeah, well, and I know the rumors were we might have saw you back in Minneapolis last weekend, and I heard there was a little bit of a hiccup there. What happened there? Or were you just physically, were you just not feeling it quite yet?
Yeah, we had a little bit of an issue that was out of my control and caused a crash and set me back another 2 or 3 days. So that was the main thing. But yeah, it just didn't make sense to rush into it in Minneapolis. So glad to be back for this weekend in Dallas.
Yeah. Well, that being said, I mean, the big news is you're on a 450, man. I mean, how excited are you finally? Obviously you've got some 250 championships under your belt. You know what it takes to win in Supercross. I mean, this is a big move. This is something you wanted for a while. I mean, how's it feel to be on a 450? I mean, how are you approaching this season, knowing that, obviously you missed the first few rounds? I mean, how's the approach now?
For sure. It feels great. I mean, it's the opportunity that you strive for from the time you're, a young kid watching this stuff on TV. It's been a tough 6 weeks to kind of wait and not get the opportunity that you've waited 20 years for, but what's another 6 weeks, So I'm just going in with an open mind. I'm happy to be racing and moving forward, like I said, and just feel really blessed and really grateful to be on such an awesome team like Roxanne who has Fun Factory Racing, and looking forward to just getting going.
Well, and, for you as a rider, obviously, you've spent a lot of time on a 250. What's the biggest adjustment you're finding you've had to make, moving up to the 450? Obviously, more horsepower. It's a little bit heavier bike. I mean, you as a rider, what's the biggest change for you in your approach to these Supercross races, in regards to the 450 rather than the 250?
Well, the main thing is just the extra distance and the extra weight. It's an extra 5 minutes, which isn't that much, but when you're battling with the fastest guys in the world and at the fastest pace, it's a lot. So it's just been a building process to get me up to that level of fitness, and I feel good about it.
Well, and that being said, I mean, you had to have been chomping at the bit because you're sitting at home and you're sitting there and you're watching this crazy season, unfold where, I mean, it seems like any weekend anybody can win. We got a crazy up at the top of the standings. I mean, I think first through like fourth or fifth, they're all in a deadlock. I mean, this has got to have you excited to finally throw your hat in the ring and join, the circus that is 450s this year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, of course, I would have loved to have been there from the start, from the get-go at A1, but I'm happy to have the opportunity to finally go racing and just, really just put myself in the mix. Like you said, it's a good feeling to finally have the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, and now approaching, the second half of the season, I mean, obviously, points, that having a shot at the points championship, isn't really in the cards this year. I mean, how do you, as a 450 rookie in Supercross, how are you approaching this? I mean, is this a learn as much as you possibly can for next season? How is your approach this year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we still have the outdoor series to go. So for me, it's just getting my feet wet, getting some experience, finding some race trim in the Supercross series. I hope to get on some podiums and battle for some wins. That's the main thing. Just get my feet under me and find some race trim. Like I said, it's just a building process into the outdoor championship now. Hopefully I can make some good results and move forward.
Well, that being said, obviously, 450 bike, here's just a question. I mean, you, when you're out when you're having, when you're riding, in the past couple of years, obviously you've been racing, on a 250, when you go out and you're just, hitting things. I mean, how much time did you actually spend on a 450 up until you're training for, the 2019 season, or was most of it spent on a 250 because that's what you were racing?
The last 2 years I did most of my outdoor training on the 450, so I've done quite a bit of 450 riding. I raced some British Championship stuff when I was younger on the 450, so not a ton in recent years, but a decent amount, decent enough to know kind of my level and where I'm at, and just getting my feet wet. That was the main thing. Obviously the goal was always to move to the 450, and then after my first Supercross title, that was apparent that was going to happen, and so I've been trying to ride it as much on the side as possible.
Yeah. Well, and how was you taking off, that 6 weeks with injury? I mean, how are you, training? Because I know, fitness and Supercross, I mean, they go hand in hand, right? You want to be up on top. Your fitness level's got to be there. How did you approach that? Obviously, you had the collarbone. I mean, there's still some things you can do in the gym. I mean, is that a concern, the second half of this year? You know what I mean? Or do you feel like your fitness is pretty on point?
No, my fitness is perfect. I mean, it's just riding fitness isn't that great at the moment. I'm only about 18 minutes worthy, if you will. So for me, the main thing is going to be just conserve energy where I can and not overexert myself in the beginning of the moto. As far as physical wise goes, I'm 100%. So nothing too big to be concerned about.
Yeah. So I mean, heading into Arlington, this weekend, how you feeling about the track? How's how are things shaping up? What what are you thinking about this weekend?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I don't really know where I stack up yet, and just here to kind of learn and get my feet wet and get the ball rolling on the season. I haven't seen the track yet, but the dirt in Arlington is always really good, so it's one of the ones I look forward to every year. Obviously, the stadium's second to none. It's a masterpiece in itself, so it should be a good weekend.
Yeah. Well, before we let you go, I know you've got a media conference to get here, but wanted to mention, as a radio and a podcast guy myself, I know recently, man, you started your own podcast. Congrats. What can fans expect out of Zach Osborne's podcast?
Thank you, dude. I'm really excited about it. I'm not that great at social media, so I was trying to give myself another sort of option or outlet to show my personality and who I am, and that's what I'm trying to do, is just bring things from a different perspective, or ask some different questions that haven't been asked. That's the goal, and I hope to eventually get some other athletes from some other sports on, and just a bit of fun, really.
All right. Well, I appreciate the time, man. I know, you got a slam weekend ahead of you, but, stoked to see you back on the bike, my friend. Looking forward to this weekend's race, and, we'll definitely talk soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Zach Osborne, Zacho, he great to see him back on a bike. Obviously, things didn't end up the way he wanted them to there at Arlington, but I think it's one of those, man, you got to blow off the rust, right? Coming off a couple of injuries. Obviously, had one last year. It's tough. Motorsports are just tough to come back from when you've been fighting an injury, man. It takes a couple of rounds. I mean, we saw Ken Roczen, that crazy brutal crash he had, and how long it took him to spring back. I mean, he's finally starting to find that form, that he had. I mean, how many times we've seen James Stewart go down and then try and come back and things like that. So, it's it's good to see him back on the bike. I think, this is going to be a learning year for him. Obviously, first year in Supercross on a 450, and it's going to take him a bit to adjust. And, the good thing is there's like no pressure at this point, right? Just go out and race and figure the bike out and get a feel for things. And, maybe in 2020 he can hit the ground running, and that team obviously with Jason Anderson going down and then, the injury, the late start there for Zach O. Obviously that team won that, they were pegged to make a run for the championship this year. Definitely a tough break for them, but obviously they're going to do the homework. They're going to gather data this year, and I think next year they're definitely going to be one of the teams to beat. That's definitely for sure. So we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, it's got some news coming out of the Mint 400. We've got some Dakar news, obviously some rally news. We've got a lot to talk about. Can take some fan questions. It's at Jim Beaver 15 on Twitter. If you want to get those into the show in the next segment. And we're going to take a short break. And, that's what's happening next here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at motoshieldpro.com.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
All right, welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And, we get a little bit of, Mint 400 news, Dakar news, got some off-road news coming at you, obviously some rally news. I guess we should get to that real quick. We kind of get that out of the way. Not big news, but 100 Acre Wood, one of the biggest stage rallies in the United States, coming up here about a month away. But I was just looking, they threw out a tweet, and I was looking at this list, and I'm like, wow, you want to talk about the who's who of stage rally in the U.S.? I got David Higgins, Oliver Solberg. I don't know if you guys read that, son of Petter Solberg. He is coming to rally in North America for Subaru. That's a massive, massive get. He's going to be running a few events. Pastrana going to be cycled in there as well in that second Subaru car. Got Ken Block. He's going to be there at 100 Acre Wood. My boy Peter Fatella, one of my favorite guys in motorsport, super rad personality. Peter Fatella is going to be there. Pat Morrow, he has his brand new badass Chevy Sonic. That's going to be racing there. Dave Wallingford, Jeff Seahorn, my boy there, Cameron Steely with ODD Racing. So, by stage rally terms, this is going to be a stacked field. I actually got a DM as we were on air from my good friend Kiana Erickson Chang. I know she'll be there. Probably going to have her on the show at some point very soon. Good friend of mine, but got a lot to talk about. It's been a while since we caught up with her. She's a two-wheel driver, stage rally driver, but so big news there at 100 Acre Wood. If you're gonna I guess go to one stage rally this year, I would say that one is definitely worth the price of admission. New England's also another great one. My personal favorite is probably Oregon Trail, but a lot of good rallies. But stacked entry list for ARA there at 100 Acre Woods. So definitely one to keep on the radar. We'll be talking about that as we get closer. Speaking of talking of things as we get closer. Yes. So, wow, mid 400 blockbuster news coming out last week. This is one I've had to sit on for a while, and wasn't able to talk about it last week on air, but we are going to talk about it this week. I have been an uber fan of this guy, since back when, he was racing Formula One with Honda. Jenson Button coming to the Mint 400. Like, wow. Absolutely wow. Jenson Button, Mint 400. Like, to me, this guy, I mean, he's one of the best race car drivers of any kind on the planet, and he's coming to the Mint 400. I mean, this guy, in his era, he was one of the best Formula One drivers. And he's coming to race the Mint 400. From what I understand, he's going to be in a Brenthal 6100 truck. You want to know the power of social media. So this is what I've gathered on how this actually got put together, right? Brenthal, they've got an Instagram feed. Obviously, every race car driver's on there, Jenson Button, whatever. Anyways, I guess Brenthal, posted up like a rad video or picture of a truck or something like that. And I guess Jenson Button, saw it and posted something up like, oh, is that my truck? And I guess the guys at Brenthal are like, it can be. And anyways, conversation started rolling. And what do you know? Jenson Button is the owner of a 6100 truck. He's going to the Mint 400. Also sounds like he is going to be doing some stuff in Baja. I know the Baja 1000. Past that, I don't know if he's going to do like the 500 in Vegas to Reno. But it sounds like Jenson Button going to be around off-road for more than one event. And he's going to be racing a 6100. Like, man, you want to talk about some radness right there. Like, wow. It's like, wow, that is massive news for Jenson Button to be coming to the Mint 400, like world-class race car driver. Not to say that guys that are racing there already aren't, but man, that is big news for Mr. Button to be coming to the Mint. So me personally, I know I've reached out to him and his people. We're trying to get him on the show. I don't know if it's doable or if it's going to happen, but massive get for the Mid 400 and all race fans. So definitely looking forward to seeing him in a 6100 truck and to see how he does. And then other big news coming out of not necessarily the Mint 400, but off-road in general. We've got Dakar, obviously just wrapping up. Well, it's rumored that the 2020 Dakar Rally could be moving to Saudi Arabia. Now, we know that, it used to be the Paris to Dakar. They do like a stage like in Paris and then float the cars across, across the Mediterranean and then right into Africa, and then they'd run in Africa. Africa got too dangerous. And because of that, they had to move it to South America. It was just a little bit safer in South America. And so I don't know how long we've been running in South America, quite a while now, and great there. But obviously they like to move it around. They like some different terrain. It's changed up in South America here and there. So they've moved. I guess they're looking at moving it to Saudi Arabia, and obviously there's been some rally raids over in that area, the world before. Obviously China's had one Silkways rally and things like that. But Saudi Arabia, obviously, plenty of dirt. Should be interesting to see if it does move there, and a lot of people are wanting thoughts on it and this and that. One thing I can say about Saudi Arabia, they pay good money. So if, the ASO, the promoters of the Dakar Rally, if they're looking for a payday, like Saudi Arabia is it. Obviously those countries in that area of the world are very, very, they've got a lot of oil money, right? Actually, a lot of sponsors of the Dakar Rally, the oil companies and stuff like that, they've probably got investments in Saudi Arabia. But I know, because I'm a pro wrestling fan, I study up on, just kind of storylines and stuff like that. read what they call the dirt sheets, with the rumors and stuff like that. Well, I know WWE has gone to Saudi Arabia twice now, put on wrestling events there, and a lot of people are like, why would you go there? And they call them the crown jewels. They put on they bring in the biggest, best guys like out of retirement, guys like The Undertaker and stuff like that. Massive paydays for them to show up and wrestle over there. They stream it on the internet, you know what I mean, and things like that. And it's like a pay-per-view WrestleMania quality events, and people are wondering why WWE does that, and why do you risk sending people over there, this and that? Well, come to find out, it's $100 million proposition for WWE to go over there. Like, I guess they got paid like $100 million to put on a handful of events over there in Saudi Arabia. So to me, I get it. If the ASO wants to go in Saudi Arabia and put on events, there's a big payday coming for them to move the Dakar Rally. If they can run a couple of pro wrestling events over there for $100 million, who knows what the heck the Dakar Rally can command, right? To bring that many people over the course of a couple of weeks to Saudi Arabia, it's got to be massive. I think the biggest question was, and I know with WWE when they went over there, because I'm comparing it to wrestling because it's the only thing that I know pro sport that's actually gone over there recently, if you want to consider it pro sport. But I know that the female wrestlers aren't allowed to compete. And I know the first time they went, it was all a male announced team. Well, WWE has Renee Young, who is a female commentator. She wasn't allowed to go the first time. This last time she went, but she had to be, I believe, completely covered. Or her, you know what I mean? So I don't know, if Dakar Rally, are female drivers going to be able to compete in the Dakar Rally? I don't know. Motorcycle racers, things like that. I don't know quite how that will work out, and that'll come into play. So that's definitely something I'm sure they'd have to work through. I don't see the ASO putting on an event where female competitors couldn't go or couldn't compete. To me, that wouldn't make a lot of sense. So I'm sure there's stuff that would have to be worked through, but I don't know. It would be a different area of the world, obviously different terrain. I think it could be rad for the Dakar Rally to move there. I honestly, I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot to work through. I'm sure the rumors will be swirling. But one thing you do know about Dakar, they've got to make an announcement pretty soon in the year. That's a massive planning event. The strategic movement of things, the logistics of it are massive and takes months. So they've got to let their teams know ahead of time. They've got to give them, a lot of notice and a lot of heads up, to be able to do things properly. And I'm sure there's probably a lot of non-disclosure agreements with teams and things like that to give them those heads up. But, if that's indeed where Dakar is heading, I think it's something that could be cool. It could be a nice change of pace. It could be something. It definitely could be something that changes Dakar up, makes it a little bit different, and I think that could be good. And not to say that South America's been stale, because we've had some amazing Dakar rallies down there, but you can only run so many areas of that, where they run it. You know what I mean? There's only so many areas to do what Dakar does with dunes and things like that, and the different elevations and roads, and and obviously you get into other parts of South America, and you've got rainforests and stuff like that don't really lend themselves to running the Dakar Rally. So there's only certain areas of South America where you can run this properly, and not to say they're used up, but might be a good shot in the arm to move it for a year or two to someplace else in the world. So that is kind of rumors that are swirling around Dakar right now. So should be interesting to see if indeed it does happen. But we are going to take a short break, and when we come back here, we're going to have a teaser interview with Justin Peck here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire. General Tire's Grabber X3 Mud Terrain Tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3 from General Tire. Make your anywhere possible by visiting GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, aggressive styling with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound of the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle.
Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
All right, so this interview I'm going to drop here with Justin Peck, it's just 11 minutes. I spent 45 minutes with him. He's a pro off-road racer, motivational speaker, entrepreneur. Got an amazing story. Author, he's got a book out, but he's racing a crazy amount of races this year. This full interview is going to drop on Project Action this Thursday, but it's so good, I wanted to kind of tease the first 11, 12 minutes of it right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, and it's definitely one you guys should watch out for when it drops on Thursday. Go over and check it out. So this is the first part of the interview with Justin Peck that's going to air this Thursday on Project Action. Like to welcome my guest this week to the show. I haven't quite figured out if this will be Down and Dirty Show, Project Action, or both, but fellow off-road racer Justin Peck, man, welcome, finally welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks, Jim. It's a pleasure, brother. I've been waiting.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I think we've got a bunch of mutual friends and everything else. And I know here, actually, out at Parker, week and a half ago, I saw your truck over there. I'd qualified, and you guys were going to qualify. I was going to go over there and say, hey, and it was just one of those where I had a bunch going on. I know you did, and I wasn't able to make it over there, man. But it looked like you guys had a pretty solid qualifying run. And how'd you end up in the actual race?
Yeah, like the qualifier was amazing. It was. We ended up qualifying sixth out of the group, and I mean it felt good. Like I drove as hard as I could, and just like everybody else, and we had a good spot. So the race, on the other hand, I mean it was really good. But if anybody knows Parker, Arizona, man, that the 425 is just brutal, right?
Yeah.
It beats you up. So we made it to, I think, mile 390, 395, something like that, before we lost an input shaft in the transmission, and basically that was it. Smoked the transmission, and we were done.
That's the brutal one too, 395. Like you guys are, I mean, you're damn near home, right? And like you can taste the finish line, and those are the worst ones.
Those are the worst ones, and the problem is we've had too many of those. Last year we were leading 3 out of the 6 races, and we broke all those races. We broke within 10 or 15 miles of the finish.
Gosh.
So this podium for us, this win for us, is there. We have as a team the driving ability to win these things, but and it's just not quite coming together.
Well, that's the crazy thing about desert racing. You tell that story. There was one, this is like 4 years ago in the trophy truck we were running Vegas to Reno. And there's that last pit that's like 40 miles from the finish, and you've already done over 500 miles. There's that one last pit, and the truck, we were having some kind of like electrical issue. Like the lights were kind of flashing and flickering, and anyways, I pulled into the pit. I told the guys, I'm going to pull in, shut the truck off, check these connections or whatever. And it was one of those things where you need the truck off to do it. We pull in there. Yep. I turn it off. They go and check. They get it, and they found something a little loose. I mean, it was something we could have finished with, but it was like one of the connections with one of the light bars or something like that. Anyways, they fix it. I go to start the truck. The starter was locked up. And
oh no!
And it was one of those, like, in the way that our starter is on our trophy truck, dude, we had to call it a day, like 40 miles from the finish with a truck that would have finished, and it was just like, here 2 years ago, same thing. We were going through the pit in the trophy truck, and I get there, and I was having some kind of stupid problem, and the guys were literally, the pit was in the exact same spot, and the guys were like, you going to pull in and have us look at it? And I'm like, you guys are in the same spot as you were 2 years ago? I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm pulling in there, and I just drove it to the finish. It's like, I'm going to pull in the pit, and we're not going to go any longer or farther. I'm like, forget it. I'm just going to limp this thing to the finish,
Wow.
So it's
it's a race, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. But your guys' program though, I mean, and you're one of the guys. I know you're good friends with Ray Griffith too, right? And you guys kind of bounce around between short course and desert. And I mean, how's that for you? Jumping back and forth, because I mean, there's a few guys that are doing it, and you're one of them. Yeah,
there are a few of us doing it. I'm one of them that I'm actually the only one that's doing kind of the schedule that I've got going on. So this year I'm slated for 47 weekends racing. So I'm doing all the best in the desert, as many of the score races as I can get in. And so, the 1,000, the 500, and the Felipe 250. We've got all of the American, well, not all of it, most of the American Rallycross series. So that's going to be, COTA, the big track.
Wow, you're doing ARX. Are you? Yeah. Are you doing lights? What are you racing in that? Like, now you got my interest really piqued. I didn't know about this. So.
Yeah. So there's a new class called the SP1 class, which it's a cross kart. So they're a Hayabusa motor.
Gotcha.
Stupid fast. I mean, these things will do over 200 miles an hour. I mean, I've drove these things. I've drove the piss out of these things, man, and they are literally like the funnest thing I've ever drove in my life. So I'll be doing those for a couple rounds. I might be able to. It looks like we've got Finland and Norway slated in for those. So, which will be fun because there's snow races, and I mean, I'm from Utah, so it's like I love the snow in that sense. So, and then I've got, I'm doing a full SST season with Robbie Gordon, so that's coming up in 2 weeks, and then my youngest, my 13-year-old, got accepted to this pretty badass karting program. So he's nationally ranked now on in his karting, and so I've been doing all that too. So while he's out karting, I'm actually karting as well, just for seat time.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
right?
At the end of the day, I drive all of the time.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like me. I'll jump in anything. It's like I don't care. I'll drive whatever, or I'll learn to. And even on the weekends I'm out in the Razor having fun or something. It's one of those where you said seat time, man. It's all it is. Doesn't matter what it's in. It's you can always take something from it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we all learn with what we do, and then as we progress, our skill level and our skill set gets better, and so. If we're just goofing around in a go-kart or a Razor or whatever, we're still picking up some type of skill progression that ultimately makes us a faster racer.
Yeah. Well, and you guys, I think you and Ray went up to, you spent some time at Dirtfish, a year and a half, 2 years ago, didn't you? How was that up there at Dirtfish?
Man, Dirtfish is so much fun, man. It really is. One of those places that you can just show up and you really don't even need to bring a helmet. They provide the helmet and everything. Yeah. So when I go, it's usually, probably a mid-December or a mid-February where it's not too cold, but there's not a lot of snow. And so I've been down there probably 3 or 4 times, and it is a great place. Just to go out, rally these cars around. You have some really great instructors to kind of guide you and teach you. And as long as you can take your ego and tuck it away, I know it's hard sometimes as drivers, because our ego gets in the way. But if you can take that ego and put it in your pocket and just learn from these guys, you will become a better driver.
Yeah, and that's one thing, I'm with you, and I'm lucky enough to have kind of a sponsorship with them, but I've gone up there, I've lost count, and I just fly up there, for day meetings and things like that, but like you said, there's something, and us as drivers, it's hard, and it's like, if you can check everything at the door, and it's like, I go in there, and I check everything at the door, and I tell the guys, I'm like, if I'm screwing up, I'm like, don't pull any punches, tell me, and I'm like, and don't be polite to me. I'm like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm like, don't treat me like you would any other customer. I'm like, if there's something you see wrong, tell me. I'm like, I'm okay with it, and I'm like, be hard on me. I said, don't say, oh, that's okay, because it's okay for everybody else. I'm like, if it's, I'm like, if you think I can do better, tell me, it can be done better, And so if you approach it that way there, I mean, you can get so much of it out of it as a driver.
Oh, exactly. Hands down. So, I mean, it was actually pretty rad because Nate Tennis, I'm sure you already know him.
Yeah, I know Nate well.
He was down racing. So,
yeah, I saw
and
him
it was awesome to see him in the 6100.
Yeah, he was so pumped because he's done he's done stuff in like Baja Bugs and things like that. And I think this was like 6100.
Yeah.
Like he was like, this is big boy stuff, And Nate's a hell of a driver, so I think he was really excited about it.
Oh, of course. Other than the huge penalty that he got. I mean, he knows better than this, man. Like, come on. He knows better.
Well, I saw the penalty was a 2-hour penalty for something like dangerous driving in the parking lot. I don't know what it was. I haven't texted him.
You don't even know what it was. Dude, he crosses the finish line, right? And it's in the rain. He crosses the finish line, and just the overwhelming sense of joy of just qualifying. Dude, he starts doing donuts, dude, like all the way down right after the finish line. Well, you know how crazy Donald and those guys are, right? When it comes to that. God. Safety. Well, Nate's doing donuts on the asphalt, dude, in front of like the crits and in front of the police and everything. So yeah, they gave him a 2-hour penalty. I thought it was funny.
It is funny. Like he and I, every time I'm up there, we'll pick a night and we'll go out and have beers. So this is conversation for yes. I got firepower from Mr. Nate, and I know he's probably tuning in.
Yes, you do.
Because he listens to the show. But oh man, that's gonna be fun. We'll have to go up to Dirtfish sometime at the same time, dude. Because I go up there a couple times a year. We'll have to schedule something in and go up there at the same time. I think it'd be fun. And like my stuff, I've gone through so many classes now. It's like I need to almost do like. I don't know. I've been through, I think, pretty much everything they offer. So it's like they kind of tailor make stuff. So it seems like you're about the same way, So we'll have to go up there same time and have some fun.
Yeah, I know that they've got a newer advanced program. I've done the beginner to the intermediate to the advanced to the ultra advanced to the race rally advanced I've done them all. Yeah. And I know that they've got another program out that I think is like 4 days.
Yeah.
But is really intense. You run back through the trees backwards, like some really, really cool stuff. What's funny is we're talking about this like everybody knows what Dirtfish is, right?
Well, I guess most of the listeners of this show do by now because we run the commercials every single episode. So I'm sure.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe they do then. Maybe they do.
I'm sure they've got a general idea, anyways. But yeah, well, you and I could, just shoot the bull here on racing all day long. We'll probably touch some more on that. And so that's where we're going to cut that teaser off with Justin Peck. But 45-minute interview. He and I talk a lot just about life, and it's quite the podcast. So that's dropping on Project Action this Thursday. They're on Podcast One, iTunes, my website. So definitely want to get that. But we talk a lot about various topics and things like that. And he's got a crazy story on how he's got to where he's at. And some of the troubles he's gone through in his life and things like that. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy that one. Definitely check it out on Project Action on Podcast One this Thursday, and head over to iTunes and hit that subscribe button to that show, and that way you make sure you get it when it drops. So we're going to take a short break. We come back. We're going to wrap things up here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. After this short commercial break. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack. and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
All right, thanks for tuning in today here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Been a fun show. I guess, I don't know, we'll get back to talking some more dirt sports and action motorsports next week, but I don't know, NASCAR's pretty much the only thing on this week. But thank you guys. Thanks to Zach Osborne, Tiffany Stone, Justin Peck. Don't forget to check out that interview dropping this Thursday on Project Action on Podcast One. Great interview. You guys are going to enjoy that one. So make sure and be watching for that this Thursday. Big thanks to Polaris, Razor, General Tire, Subaru, Vision Wheel, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish, MotoShield Pro, and the Blue Water Resort and Casino, Wakeboard Island, getting ready to ramp up here in March, just in time for spring break. So hit the cable, and I don't know, it's going to be a little bit chilly in the water, though, I think, when they open up. So I might want to bring a wetsuit. Should definitely be a good time there. So we got some more Supercross. Got that new UTV Triple Crown Series by Monster Energy coming up here in a couple of weeks, Mint 400. Lucas Oil kickoff there in Glen Helen. So I don't know, a lot coming at you guys the next few weeks as far as motorsports. Got IndyCar on the horizon, NHRA in Phoenix. I don't know, a lot of great motorsports action cranking up. So we got that crazy Supercross battle factoring in there as well. So definitely going to be a fun few weeks here. Don't forget, we will be doing that live show out at the Mint 400 as well. Make sure and give me a follow at JimBeaver15 on social media. I just took delivery of a brand new Turbo S 4-seat Razor. So definitely looking forward to getting that thing out in the dirt and having some fun with that. So watch my shenanigans there on social media. Subscribe to the Down and Dirty Radio Show and Project Action on iTunes. Leave a rating or review. Hit the subscribe button. Much appreciated, everybody that continues to support us there as well. If you're listening in national syndication or live on demand, much appreciated. Any way you tune into the show. Also, Dirtfish. Speaking of Dirtfish, use the coupon code JBDirtfish. That'll get you 15% off up there at Dirtfish Rally School. Hopefully you guys have a great week. We'll be back again next week with some more Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris Razor. And don't forget to catch Project Action with Justin Peck this Thursday. We'll see you next week.